fair community who have selflessly served our country. Their sacrifice and dedication have protected the freedoms we enjoy today, allowing us to gather here at the Great Jones County Fair. As I recently wrapped up my year as the 2025 Great Jones County Fair Queen, I wanted to create something that reflected a cause that has always been close to my heart. With our nation celebrating its 250th anniversary this year, creating the Veteran Spotlight felt like the perfect way to honor the brave men and women whose service and sacrifice have made our freedoms possible. While I've always appreciated the sacrifices our veterans have made, one story in particular has stayed with me. A few summers ago, I learned about my neighbor's brother, Denny, who gave his life serving in Vietnam nearly 60 years ago. And a letter written home when he was just 18 years old, the same age that I am, he wrote, "I guess if I had to do it over, I would do it again." To me, those words perfectly capture the courage, sacrifice, and selflessness of our veterans. Tonight, we honor 6 individuals who answered that same call to serve. Along with the veterans and their families and friends, I would also like to recognize the soldiers of Bravo Company, 1st Battalion, 171st Aviation Regiment of the Iowa Army National Guard from Davenport. Thank you for joining us with your CH-47 Chinook, and thank you for your continued service to our state and nation. It is now my honor to introduce our 2026 Great Jones County Fair Veteran Spotlight recipients. Our first Veteran Spotlight honoree is Becky Dirks Hogstad. Becky has dedicated her life to serving both her country and her community. She enlisted in the United States Marine Corps after graduating from Monticello High School in 1978 and achieved the rank of gunnery sergeant. During Operation Desert Shield, she became one of the first women Marines officially ordered to a combat zone, serving in Saudi Arabia as a military intelligence specialist. Becky later continued her military career with the Iowa Army National Guard, retiring with more than 21 years of military service. Becky's commitment to service has never stopped. She recently completed her term as the 2025-2026 Veterans of Foreign Wars Department Commander for the entire state of Iowa, has served as commander of VFW Post 4077, serves on the Iowa Veteran Affairs Commission Board, and remains actively involved with numerous veterans and community organizations throughout Jones County. Her leadership and unwavering commitment to veterans have earned her respect across Iowa and beyond. Becky is unable to join us this evening as she is attending the Veterans of Foreign Wars National Convention, where she is being recognized as an All-American Department Commander. We are honored to have her brother, Army veteran Barney Dirks, and his wife Joan here to accept this recognition on her behalf. Please join me in congratulating Becky and thanking her for her remarkable service. Caleb Thorson is our next Veteran Spotlight honoree. After graduating from Anamosa High School in 2016, Caleb answered the call to serve by joining the United States Air Force. As an F-15 Weapons Systems Specialist, he served 4 years at RAF Lakenheath, England, before his final assignment at Eglin Air Force Base in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. During his military career, Caleb achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant, was selected for numerous temporary duty assignments, and earned several awards, including Maintenance Professional of the Year for the RAF Lakenheath 48th Maintenance Group. He was widely respected by his fellow airmen for his dedication to excellence, earning the trust and admiration of those who served alongside him. Beyond his military accomplishments, Caleb was remembered for the joy he brought to those around him. He loved his family, his friends, and his hometown. Whether he was sharing one of his famous dad jokes, singing, spending time outdoors, or supporting those he loved, Caleb's kindness, humor, and genuine heart left a lasting impression on everyone who knew him. Although Caleb passed away in 2023, his legacy of service, compassion, and love for his family, community, and country continues to live on. We are privileged to have Caleb's family here to accept this recognition on his behalf. Please join me in remembering and honoring Staff Sergeant Caleb Thorson. Our next Veteran Spotlight honoree is Charlie Rigby. Charlie proudly served our nation in the United States Army after volunteering for military service in 1964. Following his training, he was assigned to the 16th Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division, and deployed to Vietnam in the spring of 1965, where he served as a machine gunner carrying the M60. While serving in combat, Charlie was wounded when a hand grenade exploded in the back of a troop carrier, sending shrapnel into his left arm and chest. He was awarded the Purple Heart for the wounds he sustained, and after recovering, continued supporting the war effort until returning home in 1966. Charlie's commitment to service has continued long after his time in the Army. He remains an active member of VFW Post 1683 in Monticello, where he volunteers at community events and helps coordinate the town's 4th of July parade float. Charlie and his wife have been married for nearly 60 years, and they actually met right here at the Great Jones County Fair, where they have been together ever since. Please join me in congratulating Charlie and thanking him for his remarkable service. Our next Veteran Spotlight honoree is Dennis Mulford. Dennis proudly served our nation in the United States Army during the Vietnam War. After graduating from the University of Northern Iowa, he enlisted in the Army and served with a field artillery unit attached to the 199th Light Infantry Brigade, spending more than 13 months in Vietnam and achieving the rank of Specialist 5. When Dennis returned home, his commitment to serving others continued. In addition to a successful career in business and financial advising, he has devoted countless hours to serving his community through American Legion Post 13, where he has served as post commander and currently serves as finance officer. He is also an active member of Rotary International and the Anamosa United Methodist Church, has served as Jones County polling place chair, and continues to assist with local elections, volunteers at community events, and is always willing to lend a helping hand wherever it is needed. His dedication to supporting fellow veterans and strengthening the Jones County community reflects a lifetime of selfless service. Please join me in congratulating Dennis and thanking him for his remarkable service. Our next Veteran Spotlight honoree is Kenneth Miller Jr. The Great Jones County Fair has always been a part of Kenneth's life for as long as he can remember. He grew up attending the fair with his grandfather as a young boy, and this year marks his 66th year of attendance, interrupted only by the 5 years he spent serving his country during the Vietnam War. Following high school in 1967, Kenneth enlisted in the United States Navy and was deployed to the rivers and waterways of South Vietnam as part of what was called the Brown Water Navy. During his military service, he served aboard a landing ship, tank, patrol boat, river units, and Navy helicopters in support of SEAL teams. At the request of the U.S. government, his service in Vietnam was extended multiple times, resulting in most of his 5 years in the Navy being spent overseas. Kenneth is proud to have served his country and is especially grateful for the opportunity to have served alongside the young men who stood beside him during the Vietnam War. His lifelong dedication to the Great Jones County Fair and his military service reflect a deep appreciation for his community, his fellow veterans, and his country. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Kenneth Miller Jr. Shad Ray Myers is our last Veteran Spotlight honoree. A proud Jones County native, Shad dedicated more than 30 years of military service through both the United States Marine Corps and the Iowa Army National Guard. After graduating early from Anamosa High School, he enlisted in the Marine Corps, serving as an aviation mechanic and crew chief aboard the CH-53E Super Stallion during Operation Desert Storm. He later continued his distinguished military career with the Iowa Army National Guard as a senior aircraft mechanic and flight engineer aboard the CH-47 Chinook. Throughout his career, Shad completed overseas training missions and served 2 deployments in Operation Iraqi Freedom, flying more than 900 combat flight hours and accumulating an impressive 4,800 total flight hours. Shad earned numerous military awards and honors that are a testament of his service and dedication to our country. Beyond his military accomplishments, Shad took great pride in serving his hometown of Anamosa. Two of his most meaningful missions included helping transport the historic Hale Bridge back to Anamosa by Chinook helicopter and returning nearly every Veterans Day to land at Anamosa Middle School with his Chinook crew. Although Shad passed away in 2020, his legacy of service, humility, and love for his community continues to live on. We are privileged to have Shad's family and friends here to accept this recognition on his behalf. Please join me in remembering and honoring Shad Ray Myers. Before we conclude, I'd like to congratulate all 6 of our Veteran Spotlight recipients once again. And for all of our veterans in the audience, would you please stand? Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your commitment to our country. We are incredibly grateful for each of you, and we hope this small gesture reminds you just how appreciated you all are. Please join me one more time in giving all these veterans a well-deserved round of applause.
big show is in store for us here tonight. If you know somebody that's not able to make it out here tonight, you can send them a message and let them know we have live stream coverage here this evening. And that can be found at the Badger State Tractor Pullers YouTube channel and on Facebook as well. So check our social medias for the live stream that can be caught here tonight. Or if you're in the stands and you want to see more replays, more of the action, you can watch the live stream on your phone while you're in the stands here tonight. You can also see the live results if you miss any of the action. From my perspective, with me talking, you can see the live results and the lineups and the results from previous events at polldaylive.com. That is our new website this year. The Badger State Tractor Pullers uses that website for the live results, the lineup, so you can see what class is coming up next. You can see the tractors in that class and trucks and who is coming up next. Find out where your favorite driver's at. And more importantly, you can see the results of all of our competitors tonight. That's at polldaylive.com. So I invite you to join on there with us this evening. If you can't make it to any other events, you can catch the live stream action on there as well. So not just tonight, but the whole rest of the season. Follow us on polldaylive.com and on all of our social media channels. Our schedule is also found at bstponline.com, our official website. I hope that you can pull your phone out and head there for all the point standings, results, and the schedule, as we find ourselves right in the middle of the 2026 season with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. And once again, my name is Christopher Clark, come from southwest Wisconsin, west of Madison, and glad to be back here at the Great Jones County Fair, calling the action for all of us here tonight, and we're so glad that you're here as well. There's a couple things to note that you can get involved with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. For our great fans out there, we are looking for a new t-shirt design for next year's American Family Children's Hospital benefit event that's called Pulling for Hope, where this last year Badger State surpassed the $1 million donation mark, and we have a chance for you to get involved in next year's event. You can email a shirt design, drawings of trucks or tractors, have the kids get involved, and you can email your PDF of a t-shirt design to badgerstatetractorpullers@gmail.com. Also, if you're attending or if you have not attended and you want to attend, it's a great event to bring the kids out to. New this year in June, we had a thing called the Noisy Donation, and we are doing that again next year. All the kids bring their loose change during the intermission of the event. All the kids come down front, they put their loose change into our change bucket donation jar, and all the kids receive gifts to take home that night. So look forward to that. Also back this year, the 2026 Badger State Tractor Pullers raffle is out there again this year, and we hope that you can get involved in that. There's 1,000 tickets being sold throughout the summer. Tickets are $100 a piece, and it's your chance to get involved in $50,000 of prize money. First place is $25 grand, second is $15,000, and third place is $10,000. 3 winners drawn, each get a share of $50,000, and those winners are drawn at the Badger State Tractor Pullers banquet this winter in the Wisconsin Dells. You don't have to be present to win. Sometimes people are there when they win. That is always super fun, but you don't need to be there to win. You just need to purchase a ticket and get it in the bucket. Tickets can only be purchased through the Badger State Tractor Pullers pullers and staff. So head to maybe the Facebook page, send them a message, or talk to any of the pullers and staff throughout the summer and ask them how you can get in on the 50-50 raffle. Of course, $100,000 is raised. $50,000 is given away to the 3 winners. The other $50,000 goes towards our fundraising efforts for the UW Health Kids American Family Children's Hospital in Madison, where all the money goes to great local research, and we are glad to be a part of that, continuing on that tradition this year. I'd like to thank our great sponsors of the Badger State Tractor Pullers before we get close to the kicking off the action here tonight. Thank our partners, Hennessy Implement of Dodgeville and Monroe, Kwame Insurance, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Lemke Motorsports, Ritchie Implement, Organics, Salama Equipment, Budweiser, Rank Seed, Sussex Machine Company, Didion Milling, Moser and Associates Insurance Services, Gallett's Grading, Compeer Financial, Insight FS, Wisconsin Custom Operators, and K&M Sales and Service. Thank you to all of those folks here this evening. Possibly tonight it would be a chance for you folks to get involved out in the crowd and take some free t-shirts home tonight. This season at select events, the Red Cadillac Polling Team and Channel Seed have been coming together to launch t-shirts out into the crowd. We'll see if that happens here tonight. Something to look forward to later. Last minute track preparation happening now. They're going to get things dialed in. As we look at our pulling order here tonight, we're going to have the two-wheel drive trucks up first. First class of the night, super modified two-wheel drive trucks. Second class will be the 540 Light Pros, Pro Stock tractors, Hot Farm tractors, and then the 4-1 Limited Pro Stock class will be the last class this evening. 5 classes of action from the Badger State Pullers coming our way here this evening. Yeah, we are just a few minutes away from showtime here tonight. Thank you to the fair sponsors that help put on all the great events here at the Great Jones County Fair, the 174th Great Jones County Fair. This is the soundtrack of summer is this year's theme. And there is a ton of stuff going on out there in the fair, including the food. This year I got a chance to stop at the Yellow Barbecue food truck, which is located just outside of the entrance of the grandstands. The Yellow Barbecue food truck. That's where I got to stop this year, and I wasn't disappointed one bit. The great folks there helped me pick the brisket sandwich, baked beans, and smoked mac and cheese, and she even threw in a couple ribs in there on top of that for me as well. So thank you to those great folks helping me get some great food here at the Great Jones County Fair. Stop and say hi and get a little bit of food for yourself. That's at the Yellow Barbecue food truck right outside of the grandstand entrance. Great people to work with, and glad to have all the food vendors here this week. They are going to be busy. Tomorrow night, Bailey Zimmerman is on the stage, hosted by 7G Distributing. On Friday night, Megan Maroney, hosted by Keg One of Iowa. On Saturday night, Riley Green with Hannah McFarland is here, hosted by Unity Point Jones Regional Medical Center. And on Sunday, hosted by Crominga Motors, is Gary Allen here on Sunday. That's the grandstand entertainment that we have to look forward to the rest of the week. And of course, thank you to our great sponsors, the daily host, Unity Point Health, Crominga Motors, your local New Holland dealership, Keg One of Iowa, and 7G Distributing. Also, a big thank you to Bard Materials, Big Grove Brewery, Franz and Family Tractors and Parts, Blair Ridge Dental, Bill and Cammie Grief, the Jones County Farm Bureau, the Iowa Lottery, Bullfrog Spas, Superior Sleep, along with the great Blue Ribbon sponsors, A1 Mobile Storage Service, All-American Lawn and Landscape, All Seasons Auto Body, Bear River Milling, Citizens State Bank, Dr. Ken and Judy Paulson, Esco Electric, Evans United Shows, F&M Bank, Fairway, the Farm Bureau and Scott Gearing, Farm Bureau and Rob Hunt, Farm Credit Services of America, Fidelity Bank and Trust, Flashing Thunder, Heartland Animal Hospital, Innovative Ag Services, Jones County Beef Producers, the Jones County Cattlemen, Julian Printing, the Jones County Pork Producers, Carrie's Convenience Store, KDST 99.3, Quip Trip, Lubin Vineyards, Monte Plumbing and Electric, Nayard Seed, Onward Bank and Trust, Pepsi, Reds Towing, River Valley Cooperative, Schneider Insurance and Financial Solutions, Steve Munt Construction and Lawn Care, The Adversary, Tough Entertainment, Von Brennan Excavating, and Von Brennan Family Angus, Welter Storage Equipment, White Front Feed and Seed, Volco Full Electric, Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park. Those are all the great blue ribbon sponsors here this year at the fair. Somebody is here that is looking for their friends, no doubt about it, as we're getting close to start time. Yes, there is. Are you ready? I'd like to thank our red ribbon sponsors as we're getting close to start time here. The Badger State Tractor Pullers action, Advantage FS, Almost Famous Dance, Gymnastics and Cheer, Be Strong Fitness and Yoga, Bodensteiner Implement, Boyson Fencing, Brunken Equipment, Custom Dozing and Crane Service, Dars Towing, Demer Oil Company, Energy Manufacturing, Getcham Funeral Home, H&T Fair Hills, Hillside Sports Bar and Grill, Hughes Garage and Auto Sales, Iowa Pork, KMCH, Monticello Sports, Monticello Veterinarian Clinic, Rod and Joy Smith, Jude Rudd Implement, Sherman's Implement, Wade and Donna Robinson, and Wolken Dental, all the red ribbon sponsors here at the fair. The soundtrack of the summer here at the Great Jones County Fair. It's Badger State Tractor Pullers action here tonight. And we are just about ready to kick off with Showtime. Super modified two-wheel drive trucks are the first class here in action this evening. Folks, it is showtime here at the Great Jones County Fair. Badger State Tractor Pullers action. We got the X Factor sled here, and we got just a loaded up pits of action here. It's going to be nonstop truck and tractor pull action. Glad to have you all with me. And at this time, we honor America again, and we did with the flyover. We had the veterans up here, and at this time, I ask you to join me and please rise if you're able. Remove your cover as we think about the veterans that were up here. We think about the veterans that are not here. We think about those men and women currently serving. We thank them for their service, and we honor them, we remember them, and we think about the families that can't be here tonight to enjoy a great night at the fair because of their sacrifice and dedication. And as we celebrate America's 250th birthday, it's special this year for us to think about those folks and play honor to them. It's my great privilege at this time to turn it over to the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright
Let's rock and roll. We're going to kick it off with the 6,200-pound super modified two-wheel drive truck. So we have 7 entries in a class here this evening. Oh boy, we're going to rock and roll here in this class. Supercharged V8s, cut tires on the back. 6,200 pounds is what they weigh. And they're going to be all hooking to the Fendt X Factor sled here tonight. Part of the IHRA Pro Pulling Series. The Pro Pulling League now under the flagship of the IHRA Pro Pulling Series. The Badger State Tractor Pullers, a longtime member of the Pro Pulling League, now a member of the Pro Pulling Series of IHRA. And the Fendt High Stakes Series new for this year. And our sled here tonight carrying the flags of Fendt in honor of the Fendt High Stakes Series. The world's richest payout in truck and tractor pulling, about $2.7 million season payout on the Fendt High Stakes Series. With the IHRA Pro Pulling Series, they're about halfway through. They're over halfway through now on their 5-event series this summer. They had one over in Farley, Iowa not too long ago. It's Badger State Tractor Pullers action here tonight. All these competitors are earning points here tonight as part of their season-long championship run with the Badger State Pullers. Our first truck is going to be from the state of Iowa, Edgewood, Iowa, and Jason Sullivan. He's going to be driving the Simon Says Chevy. The rules in truck and tractor pulling, the person that goes the farthest is crowned the winner. That's all it takes here tonight, is the one that goes the farthest is the winner. There's no extra points for how fast you go, how good you look doing it. You go the farthest, you get the championship spot here tonight and crown the champion of the Great Jones County Fair. And Jason Sullivan with an all fiberglass Chevrolet Colorado body. The Simon Says Chevy out of Edgewood, Iowa. In the driver's seat, Jason Sullivan. He is going to be driving our first 2 entries. He's going to be driving his truck, the Corn Burner. Mike Finucane is here, Scott Nearing, Kyle Timmerman, Wayne Timmerman, and Scott Nearing in both trucks tonight as well. So a lot of action here. Going to be loud. Ear protection is mandatory on the Super Mod two-wheel drive trucks. We're about to have 3,000 horsepower, about 9,000 RPM screaming our way as we're ready to go green. Fans, are you ready? There it is, fans, our first one on the track. Simon Says, the original Simon Says. In the driver's seat, Jason Sullivan for the Simon pulling team this evening. Going to set our mark here as the test puller. The first puller in each class is deemed the test puller of the class, and they have the option to keep their hook or turn it down as you get a little look inside the Chevy Colorado body. And what that means is a chance for the sled operator to see how things are looking. It's a chance for the first puller of the class, and he likes it. The sled is set, and he keeps it. Both things are a go here for Simon Says, and Jason Sullivan will get that pulled around, and he will be also in this class on his truck, the Corn Burner, and he comes in here with high honors here tonight. We'll talk about that. The truck we just witnessed right there is in a tie for second and third place in the Fendt High Stakes Series, where they have 18 super modifieds competing against each other. And that Simon Says Chevy, and RJ Simon, he has that truck sitting tied for second place, while your top truck of the class is Jason Sullivan and the Corn Burner out of the state of Iowa, who leads on the national tour. Yeah, we should roll into Mike Finucane. We're going to jump one for Jason Sullivan. Go to Mike Finucane, the old school Dodge body. Comes out of Camp Douglas, Wisconsin, and that is in between Toma and La Crosse, Wisconsin, right on the interstate is where this truck calls home. Mike Finucane calls this truck Dollars and No Cents is the name of the truck. Dollars and no cents, and it's not the cents with a C like loose change in your pocket. It's the cents with an S. Dollars and no brains is what he calls it. I also like to call this truck, from time to time, I like to call it I got money and I'm really stupid. I think that's how you say dollars and no cents. I had some money and I wasn't very smart with it, and now I got a super modified two-wheel drive truck out here. 3:19 and 57 was the first distance of Jason Sullivan on the Simon Says Chevy. That'll be our mark to beat, 3:19 and 5. That's a tough break for Mike Finucane all the way down from Camp Douglas with the dollars and no cents, and just past the 100-foot flagman. You've seen the rear tires jump out of the pulling surface here tonight. He pulls out of the throttle and ends his run at 184.44. 184.44 for Mike Finucane. That's going to end his night early. Welcome everyone joining us on the live stream broadcast here tonight. We're in beautiful Monticello, Iowa at the Great Jones County Fair. And we are just getting underway in our first class of 5 classes here this evening. Super modified two-wheel drive trucks are the first class here tonight. On the pulling order, the light pro stock class is up next. Pro stock tractors, hot farm, and then limited pro stocks round out the night here tonight. And we are pulling, I believe, from the north to the south is where we are at on the front stretch of the straightaway of the racetrack here in front of the beautiful large covered grandstands on the jumbo stage, which will host music acts for the rest of this week at the Great Jones County Fair. So that is the layout that we're working with. If you're watching us on the live stream at propulling.tv is where the live stream can be found, propulling.tv, and at Badger State Tractor Pullers on YouTube. That's where you can find the live stream. The music acts this week, Bailey Zimmerman, Megan Maroney, Riley Green, and Gary Allen are all coming to the stage here this week. Okay, I'll take the big clock. Jason Sullivan out of Edgewood, Iowa, backs up with his #1 points leading truck in the nation in 2026 on the Fendt High Stakes Series, currently on top of all of the trucks on the IHRA Pro Pulling Series High Stakes Tour. This is your #1 national leading points truck on the starting line. The truck's called Corn Burner. Out of Edgewood, Iowa, Jason Sullivan. How about it, Iowa fans? Put your hands together. Jason Sullivan out here tonight. Now, this truck's been consistent. He got a win in Farley, Iowa on the high stakes series. A few weeks ago out there on the Fendt High Stakes Series, got a win in Farley, Iowa at night number 1. And he has been in the top 10 in West Salem, Ohio, been in the top 10 out in Benson, North Carolina. The next stops on the tour, the last 2 events are in Hebron, Ohio and Milan, Michigan are the last 2 stops on the Fendt High Stakes Series. And Jason Sullivan is currently leading that points race, and tonight he goes 3:31.4 to take over the lead in the Super Mod class. 3:31.4. He will go number 1 in the class farthest distance so far here tonight. Yeah, we're not over yet. The 3 trucks of 7 have been down the track. Scott Nearing out of Reedsburg, Wisconsin will be next. Then the truck that's been on a roll, Kyle Timmerman out of Dickeyville follows him. Then Wayne Timmerman and Scott Nearing. Here tonight, you can stay up to date on the results by heading over to PullDayLive.com. That's where you can see the results of tonight's events, the point standings, results of our previous events, and where we're going to be at next. Just log on to PullDayLive.com. I'd like to thank the great folks at Holganics coming on this year as a new Badger State Tractor Puller sponsor. And Holganics has come on in a big way, and they're really helping us out this summer. And they have a great product that I like to talk about, the Bio 800, over 800 beneficial micronutrient organisms to add to your soils. Farmers, lawn care specialists, and consumers love what Holganics can do to help them reduce their fertilizer and pesticide needs. Visit Holganics online to find out more about their latest products. As out here on the track now is the Chevrolet Colorado body called Overload. That sexy red paint all the way around with the black accents. Out of Reedsburg, Wisconsin, Scott Nearing. Put your hands together, what a run. Scott Nearing and Overload powers down to a distance of 3:21.32. 3:21 and 3:2 for the Overload Chevrolet. He had a second place finish over in Monroe a few days ago. Currently sitting in the number 3 position in the points battle for the super modified two-wheel drive trucks with the Badger State Pullers. Scott Nearing had a win up in Baraboo at his almost near hometown event, pretty much his hometown event, you would call it. Picked up the win a couple events ago. Had some good runs up at the Macville Nationals up by Green Bay, but sits number 3 in the point standings. These trucks are so close, including this one right here. Your current points leader will come out next with the Badger State Pullers. It's the Timmerman family out of Dickeyville, Wisconsin, just up Highway 151. Through Dubuque, up to Dickeyville is where this truck comes home, and it is the famous Hot and Nasty. Kyle Timmerman, the next generation of drivers for the Hot Nasty in the driver's seat here. Let's see what he can do. I don't know, fans, put your hands together. This is going to be close. He had to be 3:31, and Kyle Timmerman here tonight, he goes 3:34.4. There's your new leader. Hot and Nasty Kyle Timmerman out of Dickeyville, shaking up the top 3. Puts Jason Sullivan in the corn burner down to the number 2 position. Scott Nearing and Overload in the number 3. So far, with a couple super modified two-wheel drive trucks left in the class. That's going to be Wayne Timmerman out of Cuba City. He'll be next. And Scott Nearing going to be driving Deppy's old school truck here this evening. Timmerman down the track. Now we see the family member Wayne Timmerman out of Cuba City, the Chevrolet that he calls Showtime. And Wayne Timmerman will travel the country with Showtime, and anytime we see him on the list, he's a threat for the number 1 position. Wayne Timmerman and Showtime not following the full Badger State points tour this season, hitting select events, and had to be here in Monticello on a beautiful Wednesday night. We have a full house of pullers here, including a few extra pullers that come into Monticello for the big time Badger State action here tonight. Thank you to the platinum level sponsors of the Badger State Pullers: Hennessy Implement, Kwame Insurance, Nutrient Ag Solutions, and Holganics. As now you get to see the Showtime Chevrolet, older body style Chevy S10 out of Cuba City, Wisconsin. The new leading distance, 3:34.4, is the number he's pointing towards. Watch the butterflies on the hat of the supercharger as they start to open up as he brings up the throttle. Oh, another truck out of southern Wisconsin. Got to put your hands together there. Here comes the distance for Wayne Timmerman. He had to beat 334.4, and Wayne Timmerman goes 334.03 to put him comfortably in second place, pushing the rest of the order down just a bit. Hot and nasty out there, 334.4. Wayne Timmerman 334.0, Jason Sullivan and Cornburner at 331, and Scott Nearing at 321. Your current top four. One truck remaining. A little different sound to this Super Mod as it gets fired up. Take a look at those header pipes down out the side of the driver and passenger door. Drag race style header pipes on the truck called Old School. A little vintage throwback to Dempy Enterprises. And Mr. Deppy, normally in the driver's seat, not able to make it here tonight, but his truck is here, and Scott Nearing is in the driver's seat of the truck they called Old School. 1950 model Chevrolet. .334.4 is the mark to beat Will Scott Nearing out of Reedsburg, Wisconsin. Driving Tim Deckby's truck, make it a walk-off win here in our first class of the night. Last Super Mod truck to go. Motor starts to labor, rolls out of the throttle, and he will back out of it, either seeing something that he doesn't like on the gauges, and I'm guessing that is the fact for us here tonight, is he's going to raise up the fiberglass tilt body. They're going to take a look at it. He didn't make it to the 100-foot mark, so he does have his second attempt. Each vehicle has 2 attempts at a competition run here this evening. Put some gas in it, he says. Ain't got no gas in it. Simple solutions is what we love. I wonder how many fans would yell that on the count of 3. I think now that he's got his helmet off, he's going to put it back in. He wants to try and fire it. All right, so on the count of 3, we just want to make sure that it's got gas. So on the count of 3, can you all say it got no gas in it? Can we do that? All right. 1, 2, 3. Yep. That was perfect. Now we've done our part in trying to help this truck make it down the track. So they are going to back it up. He's going to refire the motor, so we're going to get to see how they fire a Super Mod two-wheel drive. We got the front end live stream camera in on it. We got our local camera system in on it, and they're going to turn over the motor by wrench, and they're just going to cycle the engine, going to blow out whatever remaining fuel is left in there, and that's what they're going to do now. So they're going to blow out whatever alcohol is left in the engine. You can see the throttle cable right there on the big screen that runs up to the blower hat. There's a cable that runs up there. That's actually the throttle, and the more they push ahead the throttle, the butterfly is open and it lets more air into that SSI supercharger. And that supercharger is basically two metal windmills that basically two metal gears that are so close together, and they force the air through these two metal gears that are synced together with really thin blades. And now he's got the starter on, and he's going to crank the supercharger, which will suck some fuel down the supercharger into the injector hat, the intake. Basically, they put some starter soap into it, is what I call, is the best I can describe it. And you see that can of de-icer? They're going to spray that de-icer onto the engine after they fire it up. They got the battery, external battery starter that cranks the engine, unhook the charge cable. He's going to warm it up. He's either going to shut it off or keep it running. And if he shuts it off, that's a bad sign. And that's what he did. So why'd he do that? That's the question. And he calls it quits. It's done. It ain't going to happen for him tonight. Scott Nearing driving his teammate truck, the Deppy truck, out of Reedsburg in Baraboo, Wisconsin. He's unstrapping himself. Scott Nearing's in the truck. You can hear his fans. Let's put our hands together. Let's welcome here to Monticello, Scott. That is a tough break, as that's going to conclude our class here this evening, our first class of the night. Kyle Timmerman in the Hot Nasty is going to win the class here. Goes number 1, 334.41. Wayne Timmerman will finish number 2 on Showtime, 334.03. Jason Sullivan out of Iowa on the Corn Burner at 331.4. He's going to finish in there at number 3. The Overload of Scott Nearing at 321, excuse me. He finishes number 4. Then it's Jason Sullivan on the Simon Says Chevy, Mike Finucane, and then Scott Nearing on Old School is going to get a little slower ride down the track and back to the trailer there. But hey, we appreciate for him for being here. He's having fun anyways, and you get a good view of what's underneath those fiberglass bodies. You get a good view, and there we go, a round of applause. He appreciates that. Gets a little smile on his face right there. And Old School, of course, in memory of Dave and the whole Deppy family. Phone 224 is a throwback to the original phone number of Deppy Transport and Deppy Enterprises out of Baraboo. And he'll go down through there as our last truck that we'll see here tonight as we move into tractor action. The light pro stock class will be the next class out here, and gives us time to thank the great fair sponsors. And there's many great local sponsors here tonight that we'd like to thank. KEG 1 of Iowa, Unity Point Health, and the Jones Regional Medical Center, Crominga Motors, and 7G Distributing. We'd like to thank, those are the daily host sponsors. Those are the folks that really stepped up this year at the Great Jones County Fair, as we are in the middle of the Badger State Pullers action here on Wednesday night. Second night of pulling. Hopefully you got a chance to come in last night and check it out. The rest of the week here in the grandstands, the music acts come to town for the rest of the week. Big thank you to the Purple Ribbon sponsors at the fair: Barn Materials, Friends and Family Tractors and Parts, Blair Ridge Dental, Bill and Cammie Grief, Rexco Equipment, Big Grove Brewery, Jones County Farm Bureau, the Iowa Lottery, Bullfrog Spas, and Superior Sleep. next class for the X-Factor Bung Guard sled, the Fent wrapped sled this season is going to be the light pro stock class. 540 cubic inch engines is what's in a light pro stock. They run with a P7100 factory style injection pump. They can have cast or component rear ends. No limit on the inlet of the turbocharger, so we're talking 5-point-something inch turbochargers over a 5-inch turbo. 8,500 pounds, 24.5 inch wide rear cut tires on the back. Full safety equipment all the way around. The roll cage, the harness seats, the fire suits, all involved here in the light pro stock class. When they come off the starting line here in this class, we can see RPM of the engine. If you're taking a look at the tach in the driver's seat, you're going to see about 5,000 RPM on the starting line. That engine's going to dance right around 48 to 5,000 RPM. It's going to go down the track at about 4,500 RPM, and then it's going to spin out on the big end. If it has a good run, it's going to spin out at 53 to 5,500 RPM. And while it's doing that, it's going to create some wears upwards of over 3 to 3,500 horsepower on a tractor that weighs 8,500 pounds. Getting hooked up to the track here tonight. These are lightweight, high horsepower, high RPM zingers out here on the track. 540 cubic inch limit. Our first tractor is going to be Kyle Paulson out of Columbus, Wisconsin, who has a monster pass here last year on the Deer Addiction, is what he calls it, John Deere. Our first one's going to be a green one. Kyle Paulson in the driver's seat. It's a father-son pulling team out of Columbus, Wisconsin, northeast of Madison. Where are my tractor pulling people here tonight? Where's my tractor pulling fans? Are you with me tonight? Let me hear ya. All the horsepower about to head our way. Oh boy, John Deere people. There you are, what a run. Wheels up and away he goes. Doesn't touch the front end down the whole way, and they like to see that out here on the track, and the distance will come in for him at a monster effort at 341.39 as the test puller. 341.39 for the tractor sitting number 2 in the point standings. This tractor got a win back in Sauk Prairie back in May. It got a win, got a top 5 finish at the last event, and he is going to keep that hook. Kyle and his dad out here, and Kyle's going to keep that hook in this class of light pro stocks. It's hard to get that engine cooled down. It's all dry block, so no coolant in the engines here the rest of the night. So they kind of really have one good run in these engines, and he's going to take that one. One thing to notice there, the RPM, like I talked about, he should have been over 5,000 RPM at the end of the track, but not here tonight. The RPM slides down for him as he was so hooked up to the track. Pulls down the RPM. And that's the only thing that could have been different on that run. If he could have held the RPM at the end, maybe got a little more distance. 341.39 is going to be the mark to meet for Deer Addiction. 5 tractors here in action in the light pro stock class. One tractor not here is the John Deere of Chris Lear out of Reedstown. He's a hot runner right now, not going to make the action as he's out west running the outlaw circuit. So next we're going to see Ron Ament out of Farley, Iowa, the one Iowa tractor in the class for this Case IH MX series called Just Passing Through. Ron Ament out of Farley. All other tractors from the state of Wisconsin in the class. He's got the green flag out here. How about it, Iowa fans? Make a little noise. It's your friend Ron Ament on the starting line. Oh, Ron Ament powers down through there. And he's got problem under the hood as they're going to pull the kill for him. And he had problems right at the end when the tractor started to flutter. Scary situation for Ron as he is going to trash a few things underneath the hood, and he has a big distance on the board. He spun the RPM in at the end, burned it in hard. 341 is the mark to beat for Ron Ament, just passing through on his light pro stock on Ament Repair up there in Farley, Iowa. He had to beat 341. We'll see when his distance comes in here as he's going to get towed off the track. Wait for him to get that fire sock off. He's going to grab the helmet, and here comes the distance for Ron Ament. Fans, he's got his helmet off, and he went 3:48. New leader! He's going to go to the top spot here early on in the class, taking his tractor down to the left side of the track. Puts him in the top. The Iowa tractor sits on top, about a 7 foot farther than Kyle Paulson on Deer Addiction, with 5 tractors in the class. And again, Ron Ament with all that white smoke at the end of the pass. What happened there on that run is you see the replay coming our way on the Badger State Pullers trailer cam. The injection pump, something went wrong on the injection pump right at the end, and watch where all the white smoke starts to come in. It's all that is unburnt diesel fuel, the white smoke, mostly raw diesel. Somewhere about right there is where the RPMs went down, then they started to come back up, and the injection pump, one of the cylinders kept pumping, and the throttle rack stuck in place, and the injection pump wanted to keep pumping. So they pulled the guillotine on the turbocharger, which is a big air knife, and that shuts off the air going into the engine to kill the engine, because it kept pumping fuel through that injection pump. And that's not a good thing when the injection pump is about a $12,000 item, and the turbocharger is about a $10,000 item, and the injectors are about $6,000. You don't really want to have too much trouble with the fuel system here tonight. And Ron Ament is going to be facing some work when he gets home, but he's going to savor it right now because he's at 3:48 and 4:2. And our next competitor going to be Colin Burkholtz out of Wilton, Wisconsin, the 1456 International, another father-son pulling team. Colin will flip down the tinted visor, and he's going to look down at his dash and start to build the boost. Good effort there, international fans. Put your hands together. An old school 1456. Taking it to the right side of center on the track, and his distance will come in at 3:37.55. 3:37.55, about 10 feet behind Ron Ament for the 1456, with the new sponsor on board for Colin Burkholtz this summer. Check them out online, 1456 pulling team. That tractor's been a tractor puller all the way back to the blacktop pulling days, where his dad, Doug Burkholtz, pulled that as a farm tractor, a 1456 narrow front farm tractor on blacktop 20 or 30 years ago or more. And I remember when I was a kid, maybe 10 or 12 years old, I used to watch Doug Burkholtz go out there with that 1456 narrow front on blacktop and dirt. They built it into a hot farm for several years, and when the light pro stock class come on board, turned it into a light pro stock, and then his son Colin, he got the wheel, and that team is just south of Tomah, Wisconsin. It was where they call home. We're going to stay with the red theme. The whole rest of the class is going to be IH red. Our next competitor is going to be Steph Famoville, and she comes to us from Fox Lake, Wisconsin, with her tractor called About Time, and her husband and crew chief is out front, going to get her backed in. A little new combination for the 2026 season underneath the hood of this one. They had some trouble at the last event, the Greene County Fall Nationals last event last season, where she was starting to rev it up on the starting line, and it threw a rod out the side of the block and through the injection pump. Busted the block, and they had to start from scratch this last winter. Got a new power plant under the hood of the About Time tractor. Repositioned a few things. And she's been having excellent runs here this season so far. Got to go farther than 348.4. Ron Amon, our current leader. Oh boy, I don't know if you can see it on the grandstand side of the track, but take a look at all the water starting to drip down the inside of the side panels. And she's looking down at a dash that has awfully high EGTs, cylinder temperatures, as hopefully some of that water injection was going into the engine. A major water injection leak for Steph Famoville, and 312.06 is going to be the mark, 312 and 06. And take a look at the water pouring out on the big screen behind me, and we'll see that on the Badger State Live feed here now. As they've been working with the water injection on that tractor, and you can see it again on the second replay on the little screen, the water injection leak, a line somewhere, as these tractors run just about as much water as they do fuel. And some of these tractors have upwards of 10 to 12 water nozzles that spray water everywhere. 11. Corey says they got 11 water nozzles underneath the About Time tractor, and that water is boost activated. So there is a constant gear pump that pumps about 1,200 PSI of water pressure, and there's a boost valve. The more boost that you make, it opens up the water valve and lets water go to the 11 water nozzles in front of the turbo, in the crossover pipe, and water into each cylinder, directly into the cylinder, and through the cylinder head is where the water is sprayed. So there's 6 water nozzles in the engine, and then there is, what's that, 5 more? 5 more water nozzles in the intake system of these tractors. And when you lose a water connection and you got about 1,200 PSI of water pressure, you lose probably around, I'm gonna guess she was probably down about 1,000 horsepower potentially on that run. I might be making that up, but I could say about 1,000 horse less, and she ends up at 312 for Steph Famoville. Tough break here tonight. So that's a little pulling 101 on the water system on these tractors here. And these tractors also inject about 16 times the amount of fuel that a farm tractor would. This is Alan Cook out of Wilton, Wisconsin with his 5488 that's called Black Thunder. Last tractor in the class. Ron Amon is in the lead at 3:48. And here comes Black Thunder. He lets out of it at the end. Fans put it together. What a run for Alan Cook. Alan Cook comes in here tonight leading the point standings with the Badger State Tractor Pullers in the light pro stock class. And 3:48 was Ron Amon's distance. And Alan Cook here tonight, he goes 3:54.8. There's your winner. Black Thunder with a walk-off win at the last tractor in the class. 3:54.84, and wheels up on the replay. He was 100 miles an hour down the track, had great speed and perfectly hooked up, and he is leading the points charge here early on in the season. And he goes home number one here tonight at the Great Jones County Fair with a perfect replay. You see that up there on the live stream. Welcome all of you live stream viewers. My family back at home watching. Mackenzie, Xavier, Charlotte, Jim and Carla are all watching back home, joining all the other great live stream viewers. And Black Thunder Alan Cook will get the win on that pass right there. Alan Cook right there on the big screen now is your number one driver at 3:54. Ron Ament, our only Iowa tractor, will fall number two on just passing through at 3:48.4. Kyle Paulson will finish number three on Deer Addiction, 3:41. Colin Burkholtz number four, and Steph Amoville number five in the class of light pro stocks. We're just getting underway here. If you're just coming in to the big grandstands here, welcome in. We got a lot of great pulling action, and now would be a good time if you're a tractor pull fan and you just want to see the most horsepower you can see tonight. Now would be a good time to come into the grandstands, as we got pro stock tractors coming our way next to the track. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to load the wagon. They're going to put some more weight blocks in, and they're gonna make it heavy for our 10,000-pound pro stock tractors. They're coming to the track next. A big thank you to the Badger State sponsors, our platinum level sponsors, Hennessy Implement, two great locations in Dodgeville and Monroe. Our season-long New Holland sponsorships partners, Hennessy Implement. Also thank you to Kwame Insurance of Columbus, Nutrient Ag Solutions of Southern Wisconsin, Northern Illinois, and Eastern Iowa, Southern Minnesota. Lemke Motorsports, Ritchie Implement, our Case IH dealer sponsor out of Cobb, Bonneville, Darlington, and Lancaster. Thank you to Holganics from Westchester, Pennsylvania, coming on board this season. Thank you to Slama Equipment out of Hillsboro, Mauston, and Reedsburg, our John Deere and Steel season partners, Slama Equipment. Also thank you to our diamond partners, Budweiser, Rank Seed, Sussex Machine Company, Diddy and Milling, Moser and Associates Insurance Services, Gallups Grading, Compeer Financial, Insight FS of Jefferson, Wisconsin Custom Operators, and K&M Sales and Service. And a big thank you to all the great fair sponsors that we've been reading off as they are dropping the 2,000-pound blocks of weight into the X Factor. That pulling sled that we see out here weighs somewhere around 35,000 pounds is what the sled weighs. And of course the sled is what we call the mechanical weight transfer machine. Tonight out of the state of Missouri, it's the Bungard X Factor with the Fent wrap. And he has that movable weight box, which is full of 2,000-pound bricks of weight. The weight box that starts underneath the sled. As you get a view on the big board, they're adding those blocks of weight to the sled. Right there is the sled operator in the orange. And we got help from the IHRA Pro Pulling Series staff, as they're going to put some blocks of weight down on the pan as well. So you got that weight box slides forward on the rails as the tractor or truck goes down the track. That puts more and more weight on the hitch of the pulling vehicle and puts more weight on the pan. And he's going to reach down there between the rails and he's going to make a couple adjustments. He's going to slide. He just slid the box trip backwards. So as that box starts to come up, as we got a good look on the big screen of him adjusting the sled, he's going to clean out the other the weight pad. They're going to put a block of weight right there in that carrier as well. So we see that there, and so that weight is going to slide forward on the rails. There's a trip that'll trip the pan. The back of the pan's going to get hydraulically pressed into the dirt somewhere around 200 feet. And once the box tops off all the way to the front of the sled, the maximum weight is put on the hitch of these vehicles. They say it's somewhere around upwards or more than 100,000 pounds of downforce will go into the pulling track here tonight for our Pro Stock tractors. And he's going to be heavy. He's going to have around 4,000 extra pounds of weight on the pan, which is what they're doing right now. He's going to have somewheres of probably around 12,000 pounds of moving weight in the box. And that's what's going to bring our vehicles to a stop. So it is a perfect opportunity to refill your beverage. Grab another tin of the smoked mac and cheese from the yellow barbecue food truck that's right behind the entrance of the grandstands. I got some food from them earlier. It is fantastic as we get ready for the Pro Stock tractors coming our way next. And there's some on the big screen that will love the Pro Stock action as we bring on the Fendt X Factor back on to the track. And they're going to line our first Pro Stock up on the grandstand side, far to the right-hand side of the track. Each competitor can pick where they want to be on the starting line. And we got our first tractor out here of our most powerful class tonight is out here on the track now for the Great Jones County Fair. The main event here tonight, the heavyweights are out on the track, the 10,000-pound tractors called the Pro Stock tractors. Underneath the hood, you'll find an engine that is all billet steel, a billet block, a billet engine block, a billet cylinder head, a billet injection pump, and billet injectors with a billet center section turbocharger with a billet compressor wheel that sends air into the motor, and a billet steering wheel is what they grab onto. So a lot of billet under the hood that makes these tractors produce close or over 5,000 horsepower about to come our way, over 5,000 RPMs, over a 6-inch turbocharger, which if you take your seltzer can, it fits right into the turbocharger. Our first tractor out of 11 Pro Stocks in the class going to be Jason Molitor out of Kent, Illinois. And the famous 966 International, the red Cadillac, is out here. Jason in the seat, 2 generations of drivers and a family pulling team out of Kent, Illinois. The Jason Molitor behind the wheel, the red Cadillac, our first Pro Stock of the night. We'll tighten up the chain, and the green flag is out. Chains are tight, green flags are here. Pro Stock fans here at the Great Jones County Fair, one time for me, let's make some noise. Let's go tractor pulling. the Red Cadillac fans, give him a hand here tonight. Our test puller, first tractor in the class. Jason Mauldner is going to power down through there with the red Cadillac to a distance of 325.29. 325.29. He keeps it. The sled is good, and we are underway. 325.29 for Pro Stock number 1 out of 11 Pro Stocks in action tonight. On the big screen, an excellent replay of the red Cadillac pulling the Fendt X Factor. Some of the water coming out of the front of the tractor with a ginormous wheel speed, and the hood shakes to a stop. So on the little replay, on our live stream replay, you can see the water coming out of the front weight bracket. If you wonder why that is, it's a little strange. You don't see that back at home on the farm, unless you spill your beer, of course. But these tractors here run an intercooler, and what that means is all these tractors have an ice box full of ice and water. Somewhere around over 100 pounds of ice goes into a Pro Stock, and that ice is circulated through an intercooler where the air from the turbocharger goes through this water and ice radiator box, and it cools down the air to about ambient air temperature before it goes into the engine. So they take the compressed air from the turbocharger that's somewhere around probably 100 and something degrees, 200 degrees, maybe up more than that, I'm gonna guess. I don't know the answer there, but probably 200 degree air temperature from the turbocharger goes through the intercooler, and it cools down the air down to around 60 to 70 degrees. Whatever the air temperature is outside, that's what the intercooler can cool it down to. And they melt the ice, so by the end of the track, about 150 to 200 pounds of ice is completely melted to water as it circulates through that intercooler to cool down the air. And of course, cold air is more dense and makes more power underneath the hood. We're taking a look at Dustin Hook out of Thompson, Illinois, with a John Deere called Playin' Hooky. And Dustin Hook, he got his first win up in Baraboo this season, his first win in 11 years. An 11-year dry spell in the Pro Stock class. He got a win already this year with the 4650 John Deere called Playin' Hooky. Will this be the year that he can get 2 wins out here this summer? Tonight could be the night for Dustin Hook and his John Deere called Playin' Hooky. There it is, fans. Put your hands together. John Deere people love that run right there. Well, John Deere fans, the distance will come in here for Dustin Hook. Going to be 3:36.35, new leader early on in the class. He will take over the top spot. Give him a nice hand. And I mentioned it before he pulls. Yes, it's a real thing. Now, of course, he missed a few years that he wasn't to the track, but it was 11 years since his last win in the Pro Stock class, and he broke that streak this year. There's some other tractors here tonight that have not won a hook in 5 years. There's a tractor that's going on a 5-year drought on getting a win in the Pro Stock class with the Badger State Pullers. And boy, that is just a testament to how tough this class has become. And there's some tough tractors, 12 tractors campaigning the points race this season with the Badger State Tractor Pullers in the Pro Stock division. And our next tractor to come here going to be one that's pretty well known to a lot of folks, especially those New Holland tractor fans. And glad to see Emily with the lucky hat on again tonight, because it's been working. It's been working as we see Greg Elsing come onto the track with the double American flags on the roll cage. And this tractor's been on a hot streak. This tractor has 2 wins in a row. A few days ago in Monroe at the Greene County Fair, this tractor took home a win. A few weeks ago at the Lafayette County Fair in Darlington, this tractor took home a win on the last hook of the Triple Crown. It took home a top 5 finish in Baraboo, Wisconsin earlier. It got a 2nd place finish in Jefferson at the county fair. And boys, since a 4th place finish at the first hook of the year, this tractor's been in the top 5, really consistent. 2 wins in a row on a hot streak is Greg Elsing, president of the Badger State Tractor Pullers out of Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin, driver of the New Holland T8 Tomcat. Hennessy Implement and New Holland proud to bring you this New Holland Pro Stock to the starting line. Where's my New Holland tractor fans here tonight? Let's really cheer this one on. New Holland! The T8 Tomcat, the first New Holland Pro Stock in the United States. Out of Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin, the distance comes in at 332.74. 332.74 for the T8 Tomcat. And that's going to put him number 2 so far. Dustin Hook and Plain Hookie still out there in the top spot. 332.74 for Greg Elsing and the T8 Tomcat. 3 pro stocks in an 11 class field. And we see the replay on our way. And you can see the smoke was a little lazy as it kind of rumbled out on the starting line. Some of that water injection, that cold air, see that laziness of the smoke, but then it really comes back to life for him right away and clears out, makes a good run. I wonder if he was just down a hair on RPMs compared to what that tractor's been at other hooks. He's going to park at number 2. He's going to hope to have another top 5 finish and stay consistent. Current points leader in the pro stock class, Greg Elsing. Our next tractor rolls onto the track from just up the road in Farley, Iowa. Jason Rowan out of Farley, Iowa, and his new John Deere 8R. There's on the big screen locally a good look at the data logger dash. It's a big dash on the pro stocks as they got a lot of data that they look at. As Jason Rowan from Farley, Iowa, has a host of pro stock tractors, and this is one that he's pretty proud of right here. There's a look at the billet steering wheel. Yeah, now the Rowan team here tonight. Gonna have 3 pro stocks from the Rowan stables out here tonight. This is gonna be the first one. Andrew Verwald's gonna be in the seat of 1, and Jason Rowan piloting 2 pro stocks tonight as he's gonna tighten up the chain. Look at the exhaust pipe. It's massive on over a 6.5, 6 1/4 inch turbocharger. They kind of keep that under wraps here in the pro stock class. No turbo limit, no pump limit. 680 cubic inch and 5,000 horsepower. There's no doubt this one's cranking 5,000 on the track here tonight. The John Deere 8R out of Jason Rowan from Farley, Iowa. Gonna put those Me-Toss rear tires to work here at the Great Jones County Fair Track. Sit back and enjoy. Fans, let's give Jason Rowan a big round of applause. I think he bounced through the holes at the end of the track. He had to go farther than 3:36.3. That is the leading distance of Dustin Hook and Playin' Hooky. Our first tractor out of the state of Iowa, Jason Rowan, goes 3:39.8, new leader. The Rowan team is happy for that. There's your distance, 3:39.88 for Jason Rowan and the 8R John Deere. And did anybody notice as we see the replay coming down through there, running hard right to the #1 spot? Raise your hand if you've seen the steering wheel fall off on the starting line as he was starting to idle up. Those 2 guys did right there. Jason Rowan had some extra curricular activities as he was about 3,500 RPM, and he had to hold it there because his steering wheel fell off. They have a quick disconnect on the steering wheel, and right when he was starting to idle it up, he was about halfway idling up the tractor and his steering wheel come off, and he had to push it back on and get it back clicked in there. And that had to take some talent as he was looking at the dash, looking at the gauges, wanting to bring all 5,000 horsepower to life in a diesel engine. And his steering wheel fell off. He had to put it back on and gather himself, and down the track he went. Coming to the starting line now, one of the most historical pro stocks of the Midwest. Returning to the track here in 2026, it's the Bader family out of Monroe, Wisconsin, and the famous No Fear Deer. That's what we love about the pro stock tractor class here in the Midwest with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. We got all the historical pro stocks that keep re-engineering and keep rebuilding their equipment to make it top-notch into the modern era. And we have tractors like Josh Blackburn going to be bringing out a brand new pro stock for this season later in the class here. So we got the veterans, we got the 3rd generation drivers, we got those classic pro stocks that we love to see every year, and we got some brand new ones in the house here tonight. And this is one that we watched for many, many years. Going to tighten up the chain. Randy Bader out of Monroe, Wisconsin, on the Wisconsin-Illinois line as he puts that neck brace on, as he's going to bend the throttle of his John Deere 8R called the No Fear Deer. The Carousel Farms entry out of Monroe. And this one's been tractor pulling longer than I've been watching tractor pulls myself. Raise your hand if you're a No Fear Deer fan in the stands. Where's my No Fear Deer people, yeah. Oh, shoot, he says, wait a minute. Ah, yes, there's our youngin' that does not like John Deere tractors. He is happy. And that's you in the gray shirt right there. You? Do you like John Deere or Red International? John Deere? No. Case IH Red? Yes. New Holland Blue? That's a negative. So, we got a young Red tractor fan, and he's right there, and that might be his dad sitting next to him. So I think his dad owes him $20 if this tractor cannot get off the starting line right here. And I think he has to do all the chores the rest of the week if this tractor goes down the track. All right, he's gonna do all the chores that his dad wants the rest of the week if this tractor goes. If it don't go, his dad owes him 20 bucks. There it is, fans, the 7000 series sheet metal No Fear Deer out here tonight. And the youngster's doing the chores, it looks like. He is doing the dishes at home tomorrow night. As he made it down the track, each competitor gets 2 attempts to make a competition run. If they don't go past the 100-foot mark, they get a chance to come back for the second and final attempt. And that's Randy Bader out of Monroe, Wisconsin. He's going to get a tow off the track. As you can see, the steam rolling off there. Took him 2 tries to get it wound up. And the distance here tonight, 320.63. 320.63. That should put him number 5 here so far in the class. And he's going to raise the tilt hood a little ways. Maybe he'll get a chance to kind of see under there. You get to see the big turbocharger and all the steam coming off the exhaust manifold. The big billet injection pump is down under there as well. There's a side view of it on our local big screen. You can see the injection lines. They're all hooked to a big billet injection pump. They're going to a billet cylinder head, billet valve cover, and there's the big turbocharger on the custom header. And there's the exhaust elbow on the turbine housing. And if anybody's familiar with the CC setting, the fuel CC setting, how much fuel is getting pumped in the engines. If you look at this Red tractor, from the factory, a Red tractor would get about 100 and some cc's of fuel. The Pro Stock tractors get right around 2,500 cc's of fuel put into the engine through that big custom billet injection pump. And if you want to throw some dollar figures around, if we ballpark the fuel system on one of these tractors, I would have to guess we're upwards of around $60,000 for a fuel system on a Pro Stock, about $30,000 for the head. But it's a whole lot of fun to watch him, no doubt about it. This is Jason Miller out of Dubuque, Iowa, and the famous Cruisin' Mule 66 series old school sheet metal international that'll wait for the finish line track to get cleaned up and put back together. The great folks from Sherman's Implement had the Case IH equipment out here tonight. And a beautiful 150 Optima Case IH and a old school 1456 International brought to you by Cruise Ag Services. Are doing our track prep here tonight for those folks on the live stream. And there's the old famous Bill Miller, Cruisin' Mule number 2 with the inlet to the turbocharger coming out the side. That's a historical piece that stays on there, not functional anymore, but it has the Cruisin' Mule look to it, no doubt. And Jason Miller, the driver, out of Dubuque, Iowa, another Iowa tractor. How about Iowa fans? Let's dig down deep for this one right here. Iowa people, it's the Cruisin' Mule. Fans, a monster run for Cruisin' Mule tonight. An excellent run for the Miller family out of Dubuque, Iowa. And they're getting some engine work from the folks at Chaos for this season. And they're really starting to put together a good program as that tractor powers down the track to a distance of 323.71. 323.71 for Jason Miller and Cruisin' Mule. And that'll put him number 5 just into the top 5, and an excellent A to B pass for Cruisin' Mule. And it's fun to speculate on the cost of what it takes to make the horsepower in the Pro Stock class. And I'll leave you with one more little cost trivia, a little fun fact. I don't know, it's just speculation because I've never bought a Pro Stock myself, but the rumor out there, if you want to get into the Pro Stock class and you want to buy a turnkey tractor, you just want to buy a tractor and go pulling, it's somewhere right around $1 million. They say it takes to build a Pro Stock from the ground up, everything brand new, just over $1 million to build a Pro Stock these days that'll compete out here on the track. Now you wonder, how can these Pro Stocks do that? Well, not every Pro Stock is built from the ground up, many, and most Pro Stocks start somewhere and they build over the years, and they build their equipment up over the years, and that's exactly what we see in this one. Alex Brinkmeyer out of Warren, Illinois is on the track now. The Case IH MX 255 called Fuelish Pleasure. This tractor's been all over the nation pulling. 3-generation team, Don, Tim, and now the grandsons are in it. And here tonight, one of the grandsons, Alex Brinkmeyer, is in the seat. This tractor's been on ESPN, it's been on TV all over, it's been in Louisville. It has all the awards you could think of at one time or another over the last 20 years of the Pro Stock class. Plus, and here we go, Alex Brinkmeyer gonna build the boost, bring up the RPM, and rock and roll. A great run, fans, put it together, another pass out here tonight. .339 is our current leader, Jason Rowland. Dustin Hooks at 3:36. Alex Brinkmeyer on Fuelish Pleasure down there at 3:36.38. All the way to number 2 in the class. All the way up to number 2, shaking up the top 3 in the Pro Stock division here at the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Jason Rowan is at 3:39 with the 8R John Deere. Alex Brinkmeyer, Foolish Pleasure, 3:36.38. Dustin Hook in third place at 3:36.35. And Greg Elsing sits number 4 right now at 3:32 as the replay is up there for Foolish Pleasure. As we continue on in the Pro Stock class, we thank our great partners, Hennessy Implement, Kwame Insurance, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Lemke Motorsports, Ritchie Implement, Organics, and Slama Equipment. And right there you can see our current top 5 up on your screen now, as we're just over halfway through the Pro Stock class. We're coming up here now on tractor number 8 of 11 in the Pro Stock division. These tractors weigh in at 10,000 maximum pounds, and they can move that weight from the front or the back of the tractor. And there it is, the name of the next one, Never Giving Up, a tribute to his son's cancer battle that he fought and survived. And up on the seat right there is a look at the driver, Craig Ladwig out of Plymouth, Wisconsin, with the tractor called Never Giving Up, the original Fendt Pro Stock to the United States. The first Fendt Pro Stock to the United States is this tractor right here. Of course, there's 2 Fendt Pro Stocks now. This is the first one, a 940 Fendt out of Plymouth, Wisconsin. It's about four hours from home. They live just outside of Sheboygan over near Green Bay. About 4 hours down here to the Great Jones County Fair to run the big band Fendt 942 variable Pro Stock. Lemke power plant underneath the hood. We'll see what Craig Ladwig has for us here tonight. We got a John Deere sitting out in the top spot. Here comes Craig Ladwig and Never Giving Up. We're going to jump out on the track for this one. We're going to climb up here for an interview that nobody wants to make. And we're going to talk about that one because something let loose in the rear end area through the drive line to the rear end. Craig, you're up here taking a look at it. What do you think happened, buddy?
It broke.
It's broke. Fans, do you agree? It's broke real bad. It's broke real bad. But what I want to talk about is the RPM. The RPM goes sky high on you when you lose something in the drive line. What do you think your RPM was?
Oh, over 6,000.
Yeah, over 6,000 RPM. The turbo shaft speed had to be well over 100,000 RPM.
Right around there.
Just over 100,000 RPM on the shaft speed, over 6,000 RPM on the engine, and it shuts down on you right away. Do you think everything's okay under the hood, or is this a bad sign?
Still was running when I got out of it. It's in the rear end, the drive line.
It's something in the drive line, the rear end. The engine doesn't like it when you do that, but talk about some of the things you'll have to do.
I don't think it's going to move. I can't even get it out of gear. You can try.
As he's going to work to try to get it to move and out of gear.
Yep.
And something clicks for us, Craig, and we're on our way down the track. And what do you got to do to a Pro Stock like this when something like this happens? What are you guys going to do when you go back home?
See how much money I have in my bank account to spend?
Well, that's one thing. The other thing's then how much is the wife going to allow to spend? That'll be the second thing you do. The third thing you do, I guess, you check the oil, you check the cylinders, you take the head off, you check the turbocharger. There's so much to do here, Craig.
Right, but if you can feel right in here, you can feel the vibration under our feet. It's something definitely in the rear end.
Yeah, you can hear it rolling around, you can hear it shaking. You're putting a lot of power. You think 5,000 horsepower out of this Fendt here tonight went through that rear end?
Oh, at least, and then some.
And then some fans were at the end of the track. It's your time to shine here. Make a little noise for this event here tonight. And there's the big one. If you heard that, that was the sound of all the Christmas presents not getting bought this year. So that one's broke. We move on to the next one right there. A little thanks to Craig Ladwig and company for chatting with us on the tractor, as I know he's got a smile on his face, but not feeling very good right now. Our next tractor coming to the starting line, we talked about and alluded to a new pro stock out here, and this is the one right here. This is a brand new for 2026, a new pro stock out here on the circuit, and it's going to be driven by none other than Josh Blackburn out of Blackburn Racing Components in Cuba City, Wisconsin. This is the tractor called American Regulator, and Josh Blackburn, of course, he is the well-known alcohol super stock driver and driver of the American Chaos Super Farm for that team owner. And that team owner also owns this pro stock. So this pro stock is owned by the family out of California. And that family out of California has 2 tractors and a diesel truck up here in the Midwest running with the Badger State Tractor Pullers circuit this summer. And this is the new tractor for that team out of California. Josh Blackburn, he is the engine builder, and he maintains this tractor throughout the summertime, and it's an 8370R sheet metal John Deere with the big pro stock 680 cubic inch engine under the hood. The very first time he drove a pro stock, he took the win on this tractor the first time out earlier this summer. And this is the American Crane Rental John Deere 8370R, and it dies on when he tightens up the chain. And he's gonna open up the hood, and they're gonna need some more ether to get them started. And there's the turbocharger, fans. If you look at the local big screen, you can see the air flap that's opened up. That's the guillotine air shut off. That is what's opened up. And they're gonna reach in there and spray some John Deere ether into that big 6+ inch turbocharger on a custom built exhaust header. And see that in the front end, there's that big silver canister with the hoses going into it. That's where all the ice is. Probably 200 and some pounds of ice is carried on the front of that tractor to help the intercooler work. And the hood's down for Josh Blackburn, driving the tractor that comes to us from California, 8370R John Deere, the American Regulator. If you are close enough, take a look at the screen that he has. He just had the backup camera on, I think, and he's got a big, long, narrow, rectangle data logger screen in front of him. And when he fires up the data logger, he's got a cool eagle and American flag that pops up on the American Regulator. And the distance here tonight for Josh Blackburn, a 311.51. 311.51, gonna get him positioned a little out of the top 5 here tonight. Josh Blackburn out of Cuba City makes his run. That'll mean 2 pro stocks left, both of them from the state of Iowa. And the 2 remaining tractors are from the Rowan family, including the Josh Blackburn tractor, which was an old Rowan tractor. So 3 Rowan tractors in a row. 1 old one now to Josh Blackburn, and 2 left. And there's a look at our current top 5 up on the screen. Jason Rowan is leading the class on his 8R John Deere. Alex Brinkmeyer, who's been having really good passes on Foolish Pleasure, sits number 2, and Dustin Hook sits number 3 currently. And I mentioned earlier there's a pro stock that hasn't gotten a win in about 5 years, and that's the pro stock that sits number 2, Alex Brinkmeyer. They've been really close to getting that win, and he is sitting number 2 now. Andrew Verwald is on the track, and then Jason Rowan will end the class. So it could be the Rowan tractors go 1, 2, and 3. They have the opportunity. This is the first one up now out of Wyoming, Iowa. Andrew Verwald in the driver's seat. The John Deere 8360 that they call high limit on the track now. There it is, Iowa fans, another Iowa tractor, Andrew Verwald. Another one in that 330-foot area. And he's going to try to make the Rowan tractors out of Farley, Iowa go 1, 2, and 3 potentially. Our leader is Jason Rowan at 339.88. 339.88 is the leading distance, and Andrew Verwald, he only goes 339.84 for a second place position run. 339.84. Jason Rowan at 339.88. And we'll see that one after this replay. Look at the replay on the Badger State board coming our way, and those tractors come out of the same shop, and they have a nearly identical distance on the board in our pro stock class here tonight. 1 tractor left to go. It's going to be the Industrial Force of Jason Rowan. Big thank you to the fair sponsors that help make this event possible here tonight with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, Friends and Family Tractor and Parts Bar Materials, Big Grove Brewery, Jones County Farm Bureau, Rexco Equipment, Blair Ridge Dental, Bill and Cammy Grief, Iowa Lottery, Bolt Frog Spas, and Superior Sleep. How many folks are coming back for the music this week? Raise your hand if you're coming back to the fair at all this week. Anybody and everybody? Excellent. And there's a shot at our top 5 there with 1 tractor remaining. And he's the one making all the white smoke out there. He'll come to our starting line next. Taking a look ahead at our next 2 classes to go tonight. Our next class is going to be the Hot Farm Tractors, 12 tractor field in the Hot Farm Tractor class. And we end the night with 12 tractors in the limited pro stock. Last class here this evening. Boy, we're going to start that class off in a big way once we get to the limited pro stocks. And here he comes, Jason Rowan, with the high limit fire suit on, driving his yellow John Deere 5020, and the tractor he calls Industrial Force, with the Jason Rowan signature gray roll cage and helmet. Gray accents on the tractor. A good shot of the Mitas tires on the local big screen and the big Wheatland style fenders. So if you're a little bit older in the crowd, you remember back in the day when the counties would purchase yellow painted tractors from International or John Deere. That's what this one represents. If you wonder why it's yellow, it represents an industrial tractor, hence the name Industrial Force. And this would have been purchased by a township or a county to mow the road ditches. Maybe it would pull a scraper behind it, do some construction work, be out there on the interstates mowing things down. And they painted them yellow so that they were highly visible to the traffic going around it. So that's where we get this yellow color out of Jason Rowan, Farley, Iowa, last tractor in the class. He is leading the class with his other tractor. He's leading the class with Andrew Verwald driving his high limit. And will Jason Rowan put this one in the top 3 and go all Jason Rowan, all Farley, Iowa, 1, 2, and 3 in the Pro Stocks? Fans, do you think we can do it? Can we do an all Iowa top 3 here tonight? Can we do it? I like the sound of that. You guys are rocking and rolling, helping them out. All Iowa top 3. Here we go. Hey fans, put your hands together. Wow. Flexing the muscle here tonight. To get to the top 3, he has to go farther than Alex Brinkmeyer's 3:36. So Alex Brinkmeyer's at 3:36. Alex is standing right there. Alex, I don't know, buddy. This is going to be close. Jason Rowan to make an Iowa top 3 or not. Jason Rowan's distance is 3:37.5 in the top 3. 3rd place for Jason Rowan. All Iowa top 3 at the end of that class. And Brinkmeyer's roll down to number 4. And those young kids on the local big screen are loving it. And look at the replay on the Badger State board and on the live stream. You see the replay coming our way of Jason Rowan's Industrial Force 3:37.59. Excellent end to the Pro Stock class. Hot Farm tractors are coming up next. Another angle at the replay coming straight at you. And here's the results for the class right here. Jason Rowan on the 8R, 3:39.88. Andrew Verwald on high limit, 3:39.84. Jason Rowan finishes number 3 on Industrial Force, 3:37.59. Alex Brinkmeyer, number 4 at 3:36.38. Dustin Hook, number 5, 3:36.35. And Greg Elsing and T8 Tomcat finishes 6th. Jason Molitor, number 7. And Jason Molitor and the team are out there with t-shirts from the Molitor family and Red Cadillac and Channel Seed. So wave your arms if you're looking for a t-shirt here tonight. They finished number 7. Jason Miller, number 8. Number 9, Randy Bader. Number 10, Josh Blackburn. And number 11, Craig Ladwig. Frank's out there. This is a family out of Kent, Illinois, with some Pullers t-shirts. An over-the-shoulder big gun shot right there. Dialing up the powers, Frank. What a big ripper. These shirts come from a bunch of different pullers. They get some help from Channel Seed to help do this with the t-shirt cannon. So a big thank you to our pro stock competitor, the Red Cadillac team out of Kent, Illinois, for a little fan flair here at the Great Jones County Fair. The Hot Farm Tractor class is coming up next, and then we have our last class of the night. The limited pro stock class will conclude our show here on this beautiful Wednesday night. And Jason Kleppy's even here tonight, so we mean business now, everybody. We mean business. The sled is locked and loaded for the Hot Farm Tractor class. They come out here next and put on a show for us here tonight. This class is another so tightly competitive class. These tractors we're looking at are 466 cubic inches. They run a 3-inch by 3-inch out turbocharger, so 3 in, 3 out, 466 cubic inch, open RPM, right around 1,400 horsepower or so, maybe more. 20.8 cut tires, so they got a little skinnier back tire. The 20.8 inches wide on the back tire is the limit. 9,500 pounds is what they weigh. And our first tractor in the class is going to be Mike Paulson from DeForest, Wisconsin, on the John Deere 4255. He calls it the Diamond Deere as we get ready to go back tractor pulling with the Hot Farm Tractor class. With our first one out here, the Diamond Deere, John Deere. Excellent run for our test puller. Mike and Tracy Paulson share the driving duties on the tractor throughout the summer. And this tractor sits number 3 in the point standing so far, tied in that third place position in the points. And they have the chance to keep the hook or turn it down. So far tonight, everyone's kept their first hook. We'll see if he does the same. As he goes 335.77. Track side radios say he keeps the hook, and we're underway here at the Great Jones County Fair pull track night. Second night of pulling here, and you Tractable fans are having a good time here tonight, and we thank everyone catching the live stream action on the YouTube channel or propulling.tv. You can go back and re-watch the action. Just search Badger State Tractor Pullers or BSTP on YouTube, and you can re-watch tonight's event as well. All right, when's the roller coaster start? Whenever we get the camera? All right. Oh, they love, yeah. They love Cash. Who's Cash? Who's Cash? You guys are in the perfect setup for the roller coaster, the Mimic roller coaster. Do you guys know what I'm talking about or not? Yes, yeah. When we get a camera ready, you want to do the Great Jones County Fair roller coaster after this tractor. After this tractor, we'll get a camera ready. And we're going down to our great fans in the stands. But first, we're going to see Sean Struder and the Blue Viper Ford Hot Farm. This tractor makes excellent passes for this Ford. He has his engine program dialed in perfect. 8630 Ford out of Waterford, Wisconsin. Sean Struder. Tractor's called Blue Viper. Big rip out there by the Blue Viper. Sean Struder comes to us tonight out of Waterford, Wisconsin. That's over on the southeast side of the state of Wisconsin near Milwaukee. And he goes down to a distance of 321.69, 321.69. For the 8630, the Blue Viper. And if you watch on the local big screen, there it is. So when I was in high school about 15 years ago, the roller coaster was all the rage. It was brand new, and you guys think you can live up to the hype 15 years later? You think you got it? All right, you ready? Strap them in, boys, bring them in. Bring them down from the top. Bring them in. Bring them in. All right, you and the cell phone on the side, you got to check the guy on the end. You and the cell phone, check it. Is he good? He's good. All right. Send him up and let go. Watch and learn. If you don't know the roller coaster, on 3, 2, 1, up the lift hill you go. Take it away, boys. Send them. Oh, boy. Here they go. Up, 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 and hold it, hold it, hold it. Down we go, down we go, down the hill, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the right, back to the left, upside down, around and around. Shake, shake, shake it, shake it, shake it out, to the left, to the right. Up, 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 up. And to the stop. Oh, sudden stop and bounce your head. Sudden stop. Forward, 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 forward. Sudden stop. And take a deep breath. Oh. All right, now the last thing you do, you look around, look behind you. Is there any cute girls that just seen that? How about it? How about it, Great Jones County Fair? Hats off for our local roller coaster boys here tonight. Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Superstars at the fair. We love it. And we go back to the tractor pull action with Ben Hagan with the tractor called dozing through out of Illinois. The Northern Illinois comes our way, 66 Series International out of Milledgeville, Illinois. Rock and roll. Oh man, the dozing through of Ben Hayen. The tire pressure here tonight not dialed in for him. A lot of bouncing on there will affect his distance, and that distance comes to us at 3:07.57 for dozing through. 3:07.57 for the distance here tonight. And bouncing down the track is not exactly the best way to get the best distance. Takes a lot of momentum away from your run. And that's going to put him down there in the standings, as we're just early on here in a class of 12 hot farm tractors. Ben Hayen just went down the track, and you can see the lineups and the live results at polldaylive.com. polldaylive.com for the live results here tonight. Mike Loofborough will be up next, followed by Cole Meyer, Lee Ruff, Craig Whittaker, Ashley McDonald, Mike Loofborough, Anthony Sheen, Brandon Bodenstein, and Dominic Holgraver are the competitors coming our way in the hot farm category. And the hot farms, if you were a tractor pull fan wanting to enter your way in to the tractor pulling scene, this would be a good way to do it, a good way to get your feet wet, put a hot farm tractor together around 1,500 horsepower, P-pumps on board, 3-inch turbocharger, and you got to go to work, and you got to be a good driver here in this class. This is the first tractor from the Loofborough family, Mike Loofborough out of Milton, Wisconsin. Tractor called Just Fueling Around, Case IH Puma sheet metal. Oh man, put your hands together, fans. That engine going to work tonight. You heard the turbo chirp, but it stayed in there. Our last tractor at 3:07, that was our current points leader. And this tractor much farther than that. Just fueling around. Mike Loofborough at 3:27.60, 3:27.60. That'll put him number 2 here in the standings. That'll put him number 2 so far, 3:27.60. And take a look at the point standings at bstponline.com, and you'll find Ben Hayen and dozing through is leading the points. He had a second place finish in Monroe a few days ago. He picked up the win in Darlington, and he had a top 5 finish in Baraboo. He's been leading the points for the last 3 events. And here tonight, he bounces down the track to a 3:07.57 when the other tractors are 3:20 to 3:30. And hang on to your hats if you're in the top 5 in the points. Things are going to get stirred around here tonight. Sitting number 2 in the points is the Fair Warning of Lee Ruff, who comes up soon. Mike and Tracy Paulson are tied for number 3 with Dominic Holgraver. And then number 5 in the point standings is Lane and Cole Meyer, and their tractor is up next on the track here. And those are the current top 5 tractors in the points. This one sits number 5, looking in a few points back, with a big opportunity here tonight to go past the points leader out on the track to gain some positions. It's Cole Meyer out of Monroe, Wisconsin, the 1466 International they call the 466 Express. Another great run, fans, no doubt about that. You take a look in at our 2 young guns of the class, Lane and Cole Meyer, excellent drivers, 3rd generation drivers. Taking over their grandpa's 466 Express. And the distance rolls in here at 3:30.15, 3:30.15. He'll go number 2 in the class, 3:30.15. For Cole Meyer out of Monroe, that'll put him a few feet behind Mike Paulson and the Diamond Deer. And they are neck and neck in the point standings. Mike Paulson's got to be feeling pretty good after deciding to keep the test hook pass at 3:35.77. In a hot points battle here midway through the 2026 season. And Cole Meyer now sits number 2 at 3:30. And then 3:27, Mike Lupero is in that current number 3 position for our current top 3. Not quite halfway through. This will be tractor number 6 of 12 out here on the track currently. Lee Ruff from Darlington, Wisconsin. His Case IH tractor called Fair Warning. And this is the one that we mentioned, sitting number 2 in the point standings, getting the win one event ago, a few days ago in Monroe. Took home the win on the Fair Warning. And boy, if he could pull off another top 3 or a win here tonight, sitting number 2 in the points, things would change around big time. Lee Ruff, Fair Warning. Oh, fans, Iowa people, Case IH, give them some love here tonight. The MX-170, Fair Warning. A few sparks out the bottom as he lets the clutch fly and lets her go. 3:35 was the mark to beat by the John Deere. How many Case IH people thinks he just took the lead? Case IH red. I don't know. How many John Deere fans think John Deere is still number 1? Where's my John Deere green? It is even. So John Deere's at 3:35.7. Lee Ruff just went 3:37. New leader! Case IH red blankets the number 1 spot, 3:37.12. You see roll up on the screen, and now we get to see his replay come at you. It was the ground speed he had mid-track. The weight placement was just right down center track. He went just enough to take over the top spot, put Mike Paulson and the Diamond Deer into the number 2 spot currently. And Cole Meyer at 466, Express at 330 now sits number 3. And now we go to the New Holland tractor. International, Case IH, New Holland, John Deere, and Ford all represent the Hot Farm class tonight. This is Craig Whitaker. Monroe, Wisconsin is where he calls home. And this is a New Holland T7 210 that he calls True Blue. A little hard to see down there in the starting line. Got the all black wheels and tires. It's called True Blue. New Holland coming your way. What an excellent effort. Craig Whitaker, he's an always tough competitor on the True Blue, and tonight it's the same thing. 3:29.32 is the mark. 3:29.32. That'll put him number 4 so far. He will crack the top 5 with that run. Our next tractor to come out here will be Mike Loofborough from Milton, Wisconsin, with the tractor called Still. Fueling around. Scratch that. Gonna have Ashley McDonald on Still Broke. Is gonna come out here from Darlington, Wisconsin. And you see up on the board now our current top 5. The Diamond Deer knocked down to number 2 by Lee Ruff. And hey, there's Lee Ruff right here. Gotta ask you, Lee, how's that feel? You gotta be pretty proud of the class of Hot Farm tractors when you come down through there and Mike Paulson's out there number 1. You guys are in a points battle and you just get ahead of the John Deere. It feels pretty cool.
Yeah, there's plenty of poles left. I'm sure he'll shine yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of hooks left. We're right in here. We're seeing Ashley McDonald from Darlington with a tractor called Still Broke. Each tractor is so tough, and when you're sitting in the number 1 spot, just like Mike was, he's excited, he's nervous, and he knows that any one of these tractors is coming for you.
That's right. There's a lot of good competitors back there. Anything could happen.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We believe that. We'll ask Mike the same thing. Mike, you just got knocked down by Lee Ruff down to the number 2 spot, but you got to be pretty proud of this class and proud to be sitting number 2.
Yeah, I'm happy with my pass and being first hook, and there was nothing I was going to do different. And Lee had a heck of a pass, and that's that.
And here we watch Ashley McDonald. Still Broke is the tractor. Ashley McDonald powers down into it. Tractor's called Still Broke. We're going to see her dad out here later on in the 4-1 Limited Pro Stock class. And boy, we might have a new effort into the top 3, Ashley McDonald, and still broke. She had to go farther than 3:37 and 1-2. Ashley goes 3:38.93, new leader! The young gun of the class gets it done, and that means one thing. We'll have to talk to her too. She takes over the lead by 1 foot on that run right there on the tractor called Still Broke. Even better, we'll talk to Tony. Her dad is right here, and you take a look at the replay watching Ashley, your daughter, go down through there. What are you thinking about?
I just added 2 weights to the clutch, so it's a little harder for her to push in now, but we've been having some clutch problems, and it looks like it worked tonight. Yeah, it worked out for you on that pass, and this is Ashley's 2nd season in the point standings with the Hot Farm tractor, and boy, if a win here tonight would really propel things in the points and make things interesting. But just like the last 2 guys I talked to, they're pretty happy to be in first place, but not comfortable. It's never comfortable, not with this class of Hot Farms. Very, very competitive. Yes, it is. We're just talking to the father of Ashley McDonald, who will see him in the Limited Pro Stock class. And his tractor that he's the crew chief of, Still Broke, is in the number 1 spot, 338. 337 is now number 2. You see up there on the screen. And now we have Mike Loofborough out of Milton, Wisconsin, coming our way. The tractor's called Still, fueling around, the twin tractor to the Just Fueling Around that we seen earlier. A 2-tractor team can really help out things in the Hot Farm classes. So competitive, we're within inches and within feet of each other here. And here comes another rocket coming our way. Case IH Puma 210 in the Hot Farm class. The distance for Still Fueling Around comes out here at 320.34, 320.34, just inside the top 10. We're down here on the track right now as the replay comes off. Hey, we got Ashley McDonald out here. You just took over the top spot. They're grooming in the last tractor's pass who didn't get by you, but you just took the number 1 position away from 2 really tough tractors that are out here that took over the lead as well. And how does that feel, taking over the lead in this class? All these guys that have been doing it for years, you come in here in your sophomore season looking pretty good.
Thank you. Any one of us could win tonight. There's no telling. These guys all run really good. We just keep trying new things, and I gotta thank my dad, because even though he's been in the spotlight this season, he still makes room to make improvements on this one. So I gotta be a big thanks to him.
Yeah, you gotta do that. He said he made a little clutch adjustment that seemed to help out a lot tonight, and he was really cheering you on just as much as you cheer him on in the next class. He's the first puller in the class in the next class. That's got to be pretty nervous to go from you in the number 1 spot to him the first puller. It's a family affair. You got to have a lot of help here tonight, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I told him to use this adrenaline and get as far down the track as he possibly can. So.
Who else do you got to thank? You're in the number 1 position. You're going to watch the rest of the class. Who do you got to thank out here tonight?
I got to thank my whole family for my mom that sits and watches us both do this, and all the people back home watching on the live stream. It really helps a lot.
There it is. How about a wave for the live stream right there? And a turn around, we'll wave to the crowd. Ashley McDonald, everybody, the current leader in the class. Our next tractor is the Swiss Miss. Comes to us out of the Fox Lake, Wisconsin area, out of central eastern Wisconsin. Our next tractor gunning for the top spot. That was Anthony Sheen from Fox Lake, Wisconsin. Beautiful black stripe. It's 966 International. Getting down towards the end of the hot farm class. Distance for the Swiss Miss tonight, 317.97. 317.97 puts him number 5 in the class here so far, and 2 tractors remaining, including our only hot farm from the state of Iowa, last year's points champion in the hot farm class with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. And a tractor that sits in that 3rd place tie in the point standings. Dominic Holgraver yet to run, along with Brandon Bodenstein in the casual encounter. He's going to be the next hot farm tractor out on the track. And there is our current top 5. 10 out of the 12 tractors down the track. Ashley McDonald still broke, is at the top spot, 338. 337, Lee Ruff and Fair Warning. Mike Paulson and Diamond Deer, 335. Brandon Bodenstein, he comes to us from Highland, Wisconsin. Of course, home of the Highland Nationals, coming up on the Badger State Tractor Pullers Tour. Of course, if you like the action here tonight and want to see more this year, you can certainly do that. Visit our website, bstponline.com, and that's where you can find the schedule and see where we're going to be heading into the month of August. 3 polls remaining here in July as we get the green flag out for Brandon Bodenstein and the tractor called Casual Encounter. Casual Encounter powers his way off the track, and distance going to come in tonight all the way to 332.08. 332.08. That'll get him into the top 5. That'll put him on that top 5 board. Good pass for Brandon Bodenstein. Good job of reading the track here tonight. And there's that replay of the 4th place current distance of 332.08. Out here for Casual Encounter. Out here looking for a hookup, it says on the back. Love to see that. So 3 hooks remaining in the July schedule for the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Mazomanie is our next hook. Edgerton this upcoming next weekend. This Friday and Saturday night, some tractor pull action. The following weekend down in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, on July 31st. Then Warren, Illinois, travel on over there to catch our action. And later in August, the Hillsboro Charity Pull, August 14th and 15th returns. the Hillsboro Charity Tractor Pull, part of the IHRA Pro Pulling Series Champions Tour. And the Badger State classes will be there Friday and Saturday night, 6 p.m. both nights. In September, 2 events for the Badger State season. The Greene County Fall Nationals, September 12th, starting at noon. All Badger State classes are in action there. And the finale event, September 18th in Viroqua, where 4 classes will finish their points season this year on September 18th at the Vernon County Fair in Viroqua. Last Hot Farm is out on the track now from Bellevue, Iowa. Dominic Holgraver, Mama's Money Reloaded from the Holgraver Dairy team, a great family operated dairy farm by Bellevue. And Mama's Money Reloaded, former Badger State Tractor Pullers Hot Farm champion, last Hot Farm of the class. Iowa fans, only Iowa tractor on the starting line now. Oh boy, this one's close. This one's going to be close. The 1466 International, sponsored by Franzen Family Used Tractor Parts. Mama's Money Reloaded. The distance from the track, got to come in through the radio control. He had to beat 3:39 and 3, and Mama's Money goes 3:38.62. Second place here tonight for the whole Graver family. All the way up to number 2. Fans, give him a big round of applause. And all of our hot farms here tonight. What a class. Mama's Money Reloaded. Oh, the blast pass.
Or Diamond's first up.
And there is the results after 12 tractors. Our top 5, Ashley McDonald, and still broke 3:38.93 is the number 1 position. And I believe that's her first official Badger State Tractor Pullers points win. Somebody might correct me on that, but I think that's her first points win. So congratulations to Ashley. Dominic Holgraver finishes number 2 at 3:38.62. Lee Ruff and Fair Warning number 3, 3:37.1. 3:35, Mike Paulson in the Diamond Deer finishes number 4, 3:32.08. The Casual Encounter, Brandon Bodenstein rounds out the top 5. And not in the top 5, notable, no top 5 finishes would be the current points leader in the Hot Farm class. Ben Hayen and dozing through. Hats off to the track crew here tonight. Track has been excellent. No doubt that the track is A+ here in Monticello. And big thank you to all the folks involved in the track work here tonight to put this thing together so we can put mega horsepower down to the track. And we're going to get the sled reset and ready to go for our last and final class of the night with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, and it will be the limited pro stock tractors. These tractors underneath the hood have a 640 cubic inch engine, They have a 4.1-inch smoothbore turbocharger. They feature a P7100 injection pump, billet injectors, water injection. No intercoolers on these tractors. The air will go from the turbo right into the engine. And they produce really good horsepower. It's a really popular class around the nation. 26 to 2,900 horsepower is what we would expect out of a limited pro stock tractor. And we got 12 of the best of the upper Midwest are right here on the track here tonight. Ashley McDonald had to run up to the starting line to help her dad with the 4-1 Limited Pro. He is going to be the first class out here, first tractor out to the track. Twelve tractors in the field, and Tony McDonald, our current points leader, going to be the first tractor out. Then he'll be followed by Jared Fredericks, Bryce Luriklifts, John Meyer Jr., John Coots, Keith Seidler, Bill Smith, Mike Gerlach, Mike Bausma, Adam Stevens, Colin Lear, and Steve Bausma are 12 competitors in the limited pro stock class. Limited pro stock class, Tony McDonald out of Darlington, Wisconsin. This team has a win tonight already in the hot farm class. And this tractor is on a hot streak of all hot streaks. The tractor is called Well Spent Case IH Puma 230, sitting number 1 in the point standings, coming off a win in Monroe, Wisconsin, coming off a win in Darlington, Wisconsin, and a win in Baraboo, Wisconsin. 3 wins in a row coming into tonight. Tony McDonald and the Well Spent Case IH will be our test puller of the class. How many fans here tonight thinks he can win 4 hooks in a row? Here we go! Test puller, he's going to turn it off, shut the tractor down, and they're going to discuss with him, and the team's going to run off the track. They're going to pull him off, and it's going to be a decision for him as we see the distance come in at 3:45.42. 3:45.42 for Tony McDonald. And he's got to make the decision to keep it or turn it down before he leaves the track. 3:45.42 is way out there. Tony, you got 3 wins in a row here this summer. You're sitting #1 in the points. You're the first puller here tonight. What goes through your mind when you're thinking about this is you still got to make the decision. So the decision's been made. What are you going to do here?
We're keeping the hook.
Keeping the hook. Fans, let's give him a big round of applause. He's going to keep that hook, 3:45 and change. You feel pretty good, but you know, the front end was up and down a little, Tony, and you're coming on that 3 wins in a row. You just love to keep that rolling. What do you think's going to happen here? Do you feel good? Are you going to be nervous? What are we going to do?
I'm going to be nervous for the next 45 minutes.
There we go. Well, we wish you the best, and we'll all be watching in this tough 4-1 limited pro class. Jared Fredericks driving the Wild Buck will be the next tractor out here to the track. From Sterling, Illinois. Sitting #6 in the points. Here mid-season, would love to have a good run. The Wild Buck's been pretty consistent, including a 2nd place finish in Jefferson a couple weeks ago. Cleaning up the track at the end as Tony McDonald, he took as all his allotted time, took all the time he had to make that decision, as he's got 12 tractors and he doesn't know if his distance will hold or not. Now he'll wait and see, but he had a lot to work to cool the tractor down. It would have took him if he would have decided to keep it. But he did keep it indeed. And now we get to see the 4560 John Deere Wide Hood, called the Wild Buck, our first John Deere in the class. Wild Buck here tonight going to power down to 3:36 and 70, 3:36 and 70 for Jared Fredericks, Sterling, Illinois, and Wild Buck. So he's 9 feet behind Tony McDonald there on that run is Jared Fredericks. Our next tractor coming out here is going to be another special one for us here tonight out of Anamosa, Iowa. And Bryce Rickless. And Bryce out of Anamosa had a fantastic first hook of the year back on May 30th in Sauk Prairie. He took home the win of the very first event of the season. Of course, Tony McDonald was right there, finishing second. And since then, Tony McDonald has won five. We counted all the way up to 5 wins for Tony McDonald this season so far, including that 3 in a row. But this is the guy that started things off with a win, driving the red Revolver out of Anamosa. Bryce behind the wheel. 1566 International. Not too many of those tractors out there, not as many of them left out on the farms as well as a 1566. The 1466, the more popular model, but here a 1566. We got tight chains, we got green flags. We're ready to go. Hey, Iowa fans, a red Revolver. He's moving and grooving here tonight. Bryce from Anamosa is going to drive off the track at a distance of 3:42.28. Number 2 behind Tony's 3:45 and 4. 3:42.284 is the distance for Bryce Rickflitz from Anamosa on the red Revolver. A fast pass. He had the ground speed. He had that up and down on the front end weight. Those front tires up and down, that front end weight a little bit light for him. Same thing Tony McDonald did, but it's right there when the tractor started to upset itself, but powered in nice to 342. So the one who can get the weight placement and those tires to hook the whole way is going to have a good opportunity to get the win here tonight in this class. John Meyer Jr. going to be our next tractor out of Judah, Wisconsin. Driver of the Meyer Performance R&D. The Meyer Performance R&D running the Fent High Stakes Series. The IHRA Pro Pulling Series Fent High Stakes Series runs the 4-1 Limited Pro Stocks across the country. They got 5 events, including West Salem, Ohio, Farley, Iowa, Benson, North Carolina, Hebron, Ohio, and Milan, Michigan are the stops on the Fent High Stakes Series. And John Meyer Jr. sits number 10. The top 5 finish out in West Salem, Ohio to start the season. This tractor had a second place finish in Monroe a few days ago. The top 3 here, the Meyer Performance R&D Fall 12. by. Some say he didn't get it. Some say he did. The magic number. 345.42 is the magic number. John Meyer Jr., Meyer Performance R&D. 347.63 gets it done here tonight. .347.63. He knocks the doors off the top spot, and now the race is on as we're only 4 tractors into the 12 tractor field. The race is on to who can win the last class of the night at the Great Jones County Fair. The best place to be here in the state of Iowa tonight at the Great Jones County Fair. We're glad each and every one of you is here with us. A great place to be watching the grand finale class of the Badger State Pullers line up here tonight in Monticello, Iowa. We mentioned the Fenn High Stakes Series, and this tractor competes there as well, and he is on a roll here lately. He propelled himself up to the number 2 position in the point standings on the national tour on the Fenn High Stakes Series. John Coots and the Diggin' Deer John Deere 4020. He won the first event in West Salem, Ohio. He was their winner. A second place finish in Farley, Iowa. And he is coming off a win in Saturday night in Benson, North Carolina. Coming off a win this last weekend. And on top of that, he took the tractor to Henry, Illinois to America's Pull for the Pro Pulling League Champions Tour. And he got a win there also this last weekend. Coming off with a couple wins. Will the John Deere continue for John Coots? Hey, John Deere people, what a good run. There's my John Deere fans. A lot of red up there in the top positions. 347.63 is the current leading distance, and John Coots has got to be close to that mark with his run here tonight. Distance will come in for the Diggin' Deer at 339.74 into the top 5. Number 4 is the position, 339.74 for John Coots out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, outside of Madison with his John Deere. It's all red in the top 3 currently. Take a look at the John Deere pass of John Coots. Just when I thought his run was done, he edges out there a few more inches before pulling back on the throttle. Look straight on at the replay now and see what his front end does. Beautiful stream of black diesel smoke coming out of the 4-inch turbocharger. Keeps the front end nice and steady and burns it in right there. And we see him on the board sitting number 4. For you folks on the live stream, we see 5 out of 12 tractors down the track so far. And it's all red at 1, 2, and 3. Keith Seidler with the John Deere green gonna stay with us here out of Council Bluff, Iowa. The tractor's called the Game Changer. Council Bluffs, Iowa will be our next tractor's hometown. John Meyer's right here. Hey, there you are. Hey, you're in the lead. You had a second place in Benson, North Carolina on the high stakes series. You're a little bit ahead of Tony McDonald. That's got to make you feel pretty good when you're up there in the best of the best here in the 4-1 class.
Yeah, I was real happy with the run. Great track. Love coming here, so wanted to come try a few things, and there's a lot of good iron back there yet, so we'll see what happens.
There we are. We're only midway through the class. We just got a chance to talk to the Meyer Performance R&D, the 1206 Giant, John Meyer Jr. He's sitting there in the top spot right now. Here comes a Council Bluffs Iowa competitor on the game changer, John Deere, ready to shake off the all-red top three with the green one. .336.84 for the game changer on a Council Bluffs, Iowa. 336.84. That'll crack the top 5 right there. And that'll put us halfway through the last class of the night. Thank you to all the fair sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors of the Badger State Tractor Pullers. And if you're going to be here the rest of the week, you're in for a treat. Bailey Zimmerman comes on the stage tomorrow night. And then Megan Maroney. What a 1-2 punch the next 2 nights here on the stage. We're on a streak of 3 John Deere tractors in a row, and this one is going to be Bill Smith from Darlington, Wisconsin, the John Deere 6030. Calls this tractor high maintenance. Bill Smith had one banger of a run in Baraboo, Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. Just getting this tractor out late in the season. He finds himself up there in the point standings. A second place finish. His best finish so far. Sitting number 3 in the points. Needs a good pass right here. Has to be in the top 5 here tonight to help his points championship run on. John Deere people! Going to make this one awfully close is Bill Smith. Bill Smith in the high maintenance going to power down there to 348.46. New leader! 1 foot ahead of John Meyer Jr. to the top of the standings. 348.46, and they love it. Green tractors on top. That's pretty cool, ain't it, guys? Hey, gals. Boy, they love that so much that they act like they just won the lottery. 348.46 for Bill Smith. Third place in the points. He's charging through the polls this season, looking for his win. And he's in position right now. We still have the second place points tractor to come our way. Our next tractor here has coming off a really good run, a top 3 finish. And we still got both Bausma tractors to go and Adam Stevens. Anything can happen as we are down, folks, to 5 tractors left here in the limited pro stock class. And this is going to be Mike Gerlach. He will tighten the chain here with the newly redesigned G-Force out of Stockton, Illinois. New sheet metal for 2026. It's a little taller, a little wider, a little bigger to fit everything under the hood now. No stock style sheet metal anymore for the G-Force. And Mike Gerlach at the wheel here tonight. Mike Gerlach of the G-Force gets a little over to the left side of the track and goes 330.03. 330.03, could not quite get up into the top positions and just quite couldn't get there. He had an excellent pass right there on the replay. His wheels up and he held it there. And then up and down on the front end, and 330.03 will be his distance. Right where he had spun out, that's where kind of the hill starts. And if you're down here about track level, especially the guy in the orange sweatshirt right down there track side, he's eyeballing it. And right where the Bobcat's sitting right now, there's a little high spot, a little bit of a high spot on the track right there where all the dirt from the pans gathers at the end of the track, and that skid steer pushes things back in. Our limited pro stocks at the end of the night, they're gonna have to climb that hill and see who can get the pan up and across that little mound of dirt that we've made now at the end of the track, and who could drag it through there the farthest. Will it be Mike Bausma? He's gonna be up next, coming to us from Worthington, Minnesota, the far west and southern Minnesota. It's the limited edition, the first of a 2-tractor team coming out here. And these tractors, they put some miles on in the summertime, and they're about just under 5 hours from here to Worthington, Minnesota. And they're on a hot stretch, a big stretch of pulling for the Bausmas as they travel north, south, east, and west throughout the summer. Mike Bausma on a limited edition, 348.46. Bill Smith in the high maintenance is on top of the class. 3:08 and 5.7 for Mike Bausma and limited edition here tonight. 3:08 and 5.7. He got a little on the right side of the track and a bit back. That'll bring up Adam Stevens and Slow Ride next. Chain is tight right here. Adam Stevens, driver of the Slow Ride.
All black paint on this one, it looks sharp. One to get a little Snapchat out right here would be a good idea.
Adam Stevens in the Slow Ride is going to be at 3:20 and 40. 3:20 and 40 for the tractor out of Shannon, Illinois. The Slow Ride of Adam Stevens up and down on the front end. It just took his ground speed and his momentum away from him at about 200 feet. Our last few drivers down there in the distances, and boy, something is going to have to happen here for our next two drivers if they want a chance at the top three. And for our next driver, he has basically no chance to be down there. He cannot be down there. How do I want to say it? He wants to be in the top five, to be in the points contention with Tony McDonald, as he is trying to stay in tow with Tony McDonald. And that's Colin Lear out of Reedstown, Wisconsin with the Badger Deer. Sits number 2 in the point standings, just ahead of Bill Smith and the High Maintenance, who is leading the class currently. And this tractor comes out of Reedstown, Wisconsin. Just south of Viroqua is where they call home. And they have a family dairy farm operation with 3 generations on the farm. And a father, son, 2 sons, and the dad out there pulling. And the dad, Chris Lear, has a light pro stock that he tours around. And Colin Lear, one of the sons out here now with the 4-1 Limited Pro. Got some new parts under the hood here this summer and has been doing awfully well. A lot of top 3 finishes. And he's going to have to put a run together and figure out the track if they want to put more green up there in the top 3. Green one in the lead, and a green one on the starting line for us here tonight. Colin Lear with the Badger Deer. The Badger Deer, how about it, John Deere? Where's my John Deere people right here? Keep an eye on this one. Colin Lear and the Badger Deer, he had to be a top 5 finish here tonight to keep that points going tonight. 332.48. That'll put him in 8th place. 332.48 for Colin Lear. And the Badger Deer that had to put him down there a little. The last 4 tractors all are at the bottom of the order. Bill Smith hooked and took the lead, and after Bill Smith, the next 4 tractors are all from last place to 8th place. What a change out here on the track with 1 tractor remaining here tonight, fans. Steve Bausman, a special edition out of Worthington, Minnesota, is out here. 1 to go before we look over to Bill Smith. There he is. Yeah, he's still smiling. Just another night. Bill Smith's been in this position before. You know, I'm trying not to have him listen to me, but he's been here before where he's been in the lead and then he got knocked down to 2nd place. That happened once already this year. And there's 1 tractor to go. And Steve Bausman will have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, it seems, to crack the top 5 because it's been tough out there on the track. But this tractor more than capable out of Worthington, Minnesota. It's not over till the Bausmans are out here. We start to build a boost. Our last tractor of the night. Great Jones County Fair. Sit back and enjoy. The 6030 John Deere Special Edition, I think, is going to end up right around 8th or 9th place, is going to be my guess from where I'm standing right here. And that'll put an official wrap on it. Thank you, fans, as we're going to have the replay here, and then we'll give you the top tractors here tonight as we see our last one out here in competition. Ends up number 10, 328.53, and Bill Smith is going to get the win here tonight. His first one this season. Congratulations to him. Special Edition will finish number 10, 328.53. And here is the rest of the top 10. We'll go to number 9, Mike Gerlach on G-Force, 330. Number 8, it will be Colin Lear on Badger Deer, 332.48. Number 7 will be Jared Fredericks on Wild Buck, 336. Number 6 going to be Keith Seidler out of Council Bluffs, Iowa, 336.8. He's going to finish number 6, and there's your top 5 on the screen now. John Coots on Diggin' Deer will finish number 5, 339. Number 4 going to be Bryce on the Red Revolver, 342. In the top 3, Tony McDonald on Well Spent at 345 gets the 3rd place spot. Number 2, Meyer Performance R&D, 347, and 348 is Bill Smith right here. Bill Smith, you want to sneak out of there without saying something, I know, but you gotta thank somebody, Bill. You're in the top spot, you get the win. Congratulations, buddy. Your first win this season. It feels good, I bet.
It feels really good. We've had a rough season and a really rough week at home on the farm. This really makes it a lot better.
The competition, all the best of the 4-1s were here tonight, and you dropped the hammer on them and got the win.
Yeah, I got to thank Mark Korth at K3 Tire. He's got us a new set of tires, and they're finally working.
And right there, they're still here, Bill. Them are the biggest John Deere fans I've ever seen in my life, and they made so much noise for you. How about a John Deere cheer infection? Here's your winner right here. He walks off the track right there with much love from yes, indeed. That'll put a wrap on it here tonight. Great Jones County Fair. We hope to see you back here the rest of this week. Hope you enjoyed the Banjo State Tractor Pullers action. Rewatch the live stream on YouTube to enjoy the action once again from tonight. We hope to see you again another time. Thank you.